made a huge difference. It was really the beginning of behavior analysis right there. He was a wonderful person.
Which is your favorite book of your father?
Well, I must say it's really a cumulative record because it has case history and scientific method, which is just a charming article.
And in your opinion, is Skinner the most important psychologist in history?
Well, my father really didn't like, certainly at the end of his life, being called a psychologist. As most famous behaviorist, absolutely. As a psychologist, I think that he is known as a behavioral psychologist. So, but I don't know. Of course, in literature, you have Freud from the 20th century, but nothing that Freud had is really producing the kind of improvements that you have in with the behavioral science. I mean, behavioral science, any good science has uses, and of course, behavior analysis is the use of behaviorism, and it works.
And what is your opinion about psychological analysis?
Well, if it's verbal behavior, I think it could be helpful. At least it makes you feel better temporarily. And whether it actually changes the behavior that's the problem is something else entirely.
Okay. Which psychologists do you think have been the most important in history? Are there any other names you feel they haven't received enough fame or recognition?
Well, from my father's point of view, Crozier was important in his development, but I don't think that it's equivalent to Watson or I don't know. I mean, I think Darwin is a scientist that I would certainly say was as important as in terms of what he discovered as what my father discovered. And of course, going way back, Galileo discovered principles of physics that are still being used today. The facts don't change. The originator of them is usually credited.
All right. So we're heading to the end of the interview. There's one more question. If Skinner were alive in today's world, what kind of topics or polemics do you think would almost engage his attention?
When he died, he had a manuscript on ethics that he was working on. So I think that is what he would do if he were in his elder years. But he also was working on a manuscript of ethics when he was at Harvard in the in his early 20s. And so I think that even if he were a youngster, again, that he would be interested in ethical issues. It's a toughie. And I think that would be something that he would tackle.
Gracias por ver este vídeo, os dejamos por aquí un enlace a nuestra última formación y por aquí algunos vídeos que os pueden resultar de interés. Si estáis buscando ayuda psicológica, también podéis mirar en la descripción del vídeo donde encontraréis nuestra web y podréis solicitar asistencia terapéutica de un profesional confiable y que os ofrecerá ayuda psicológica basada en evidencia científica.